Welcome back everybody to the Book of X, and it is the day after the big Xbox showcase of 2025, and I thoroughly enjoyed that showcase. The fact that Microsoft was able to put on a show that didn't involve most of the big hitters people were expecting and still come away with an abundance of great looking games going to Game Pass and some brand new reveals just shows the testament of how far Microsoft have come, or specifically Xbox have come in the last 10 years since the darker days of the Xbox One. Long gone are the showcases where we might have got maybe one or two great reveals, but it was largely stuff that people weren't all that interested in. And now we're at the place whereby Xbox are able to launch double-digit figures games in a single year. It is brilliant. But let's get straight into this one. So the first game that was shown at the showcase was the showpiece title of this, which was The Outer Worlds 2, and we had confirmation that this game will be releasing on the 29th of October this year. It looks like a pretty spectacular continuation of what we experienced in the first game, with everything doubled up essentially. So taking the blueprint of the Xbox 360 era, of taking a base game and then expanding it in the sequel in every possible way. This was then followed up with the reveal of High on Life 2. So if you recall, High on Life, when it launched in Game Pass, became one of the biggest Game Pass launches of all time. It was a massively popular game. Well, they announced that the sequel will be arriving this winter, and it will also again drop back into Game Pass. So I was a big fan of the first High on Life, so I'm interested to see what they can do in this sequel. We then have the reveal of the third game, not the third in the numbering, but the third game in the Plague Tale saga, which is Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy. Now, this was revealed to be launching in 2026 and will also be a Game Pass Day 1 edition. And what we do know from this is it takes place as a prequel set 15 years before the events of Requiem and follows the story of the pirate smuggler Sophia. We then had the reveal of the ROG Xbox Ally. So this will be launched in holiday 2025. No price announced with it, but essentially gave us the first glimpse of the two models, the ROG Xbox Ally, which is the white model, and the ROG Xbox Ally X, which will be the black model. And this will allow you to play your digital Xbox games natively, along with all the other storefronts. But the biggest kicker of this over the current ROG is that it showcased us what looks to be the new big picture mode for Xbox on the PC, with a very nice clean looking UI. A glimpse into the future of what potentially the next Xbox console's UI could even look like. But what was also teased alongside this was confirmation that Hollow Knight Silksong, which many have been asking for, will officially launch alongside these devices this holiday. So definitely final sort of date on that, or is that likely to get delayed again? We'll have to wait and see. We then went into The Blood of the Dawnwalker. So this will be launching in 2026, and this is the former CD Projekt Red developers that established a new studio called Rebel Wolves, and it's an RPG game with deep sort of vampire lore. So this is very intriguing one. It's essentially Witcher with a bit of a darker take, and focusing primarily on vampires, but with a over-the-shoulder sort of close combat. It reminded me a bit of the likes of Plague Tale and the likes of Hellblade, but of course we've got confirmation that this is a full-blown RPG, so can't wait for this one to launch when it comes around next year. We then have the reveal of Super Meat Boy 3D. So this is coming in early 2026 and will be a day one addition to Game Pass. This gave very much a sort of a Mario vibe to this. I didn't play the original Super Meat Boy, but this one definitely looked like a very enjoyable but brutal and difficult platformer. So can't wait to see more of this one once it does land in 2026. This was followed up then by Ninja Gaiden 4. Now, Ninja Gaiden 4 was confirmed earlier this year during Xbox's Developer Direct, and this will be coming day one to Game Pass too, but we got a release date confirmation of 21st of October this year. So another big title from Xbox launching in October this year, and certainly not the last one, as we'll get on to soon. But this looked excellent. As a big fan of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black earlier this year, I can't wait to see how Team Ninja do with this game alongside the quality that comes from Platinum, bringing sort of the pedigree they have with the likes of Bayonetta along with them. We then had confirmation of the release date of Indiana Jones's DLC, which is labelled Order the Giants. Now, this is an expansion to Indiana Jones already in Game Pass. This will have to be purchased separately. We had confirmation that this will release on the 4th of September this year, and the DLC sort of takes Indiana Jones to Rome, where he must sort of do what we expect from the base game, which is solve puzzles, uncover mysteries, and as it is labelled, uncover the legacy of the Nephilim giants. So cannot wait for that one. We then went into Beast of Reincarnation. Now, Beast of Reincarnation is launching in 2026, but this is a post-apocalyptic Japan and is listed as Beast of Reincarnation is an action RPG that explores what it means to be human. You adventure across ever-changing world as Emma and Ku, smiting monstrous creatures as you carry the weight of being humanity's last hope in a world ruined by corruption. Now, this is being developed by the team at Game Freak, which many people will know Game Freak as the makers of the Pokemon franchise for Nintendo. So certainly a massive departure on what we expect, what we usually have from them, and shows what they are capable of really once they unshackled from sort of Nintendo's chains. We then went into what I would argue was the showpiece of this. The trailer was utterly mind-blowing. So this was Clockwork Revolution. We still don't have a release date, but they did tease in due time. But of course, this is day one game in Game Pass. This is Xbox Game Studios. But this trailer was phenomenal. We got a good understanding of the characters. We got a good understanding of the missions we should expect. Abundance of gameplay that it reminded me so much of BioShock mixed with Dishonored, and the humor that went along with it. This looks like a real contender already. I'm assuming this is 2020, early 2026, but this looks like a real contender for a Game of the Year spot, and a contender for one of my favorite games of all time. As a massive fan of the BioShock franchise, which I would consider my favorite game series franchise out there. So cannot wait to see what In Exile finally deliver in the full build when this does launch. We are then coming back around to Obsidian, and Obsidian are on a mammoth year. First of all, they launched Avowed this year. We had confirmation they're releasing Outer Worlds in October, but why not add a third game to the mix? So between the two, they announced they're releasing Grounded 2, and that's launching on the 29th of July into Game Pass. Well, we all know what Grounded is. It's essentially Grounded 1, just bigger, badder, and better. So cannot wait to jump into this one. I was a fan of the first one, and I look to try and play this one with some of the family who are now old enough to sort of experience these type of games. We then went into Blooper Team's Chronos: The New Dawn. Now, I'm very intrigued by this one. This game looks great. Not a Game Pass title, but they confirmed that this is releasing in fall of this year, and is a third-person survival horror game set in the future, and this gives some serious Dead Space vibes. I cannot wait for this. I know Blooper Team have a patchy track record, but I know that their Silent Hill game got a lot of praise when it launched last year, so hopefully they are going in the right direction, and they've certainly caught my attention with this game. We then had a sizzle reel of Elder Scrolls Online Season of the World Cult, which is launching on the 18th of June. Sort of part of the parcel with Xbox that they'll showcase this one year in, year out, because Elder Scrolls Online, to be fair, is an absolute machine, constantly pumping out new content year on year, and this is update number 46, so well done to the MMO, which had confirmation during the showcase that it's reached 26 million plus players. We then had another one of my favourite games at this showcase. I thought it was a beautiful trailer. So this is Dontnod's Aphelion. So this is confirmation that this is releasing in 2026 and will launch into Game Pass. And what it seems to be is Aphelion is like a narrative style game whereby you crash land on a planet and you essentially got to survive as this astronaut. Now, I'm a big fan of Dontnod's games, so I'm really intrigued to see how this one's going to go. perhaps the gameplay might be a bit on the light side, but one thing we can say with Don't Nod is they do craft very good stories. We then went on into what is probably one of the wackiest trailers we got at this showcase, which was There Are No Ghosts at the Grand. So this is joining Game Pass next year, and the gameplay in this trailer just kept changing. At first I thought it was a house flipper style game where you're just cleaning up the place, and then they went into all this crazy sort of supernatural mystery solving game. It was a very bizarre blend of stuff, but I'm very much intrigued. It's sort of part Power Wash Simulator, part house flipper, part Wicker Man, part we'll have to wait and see. The poster had cats, it had tentacles, very bizarre, but let's see how this one turns out. We then had the reveal of Age of Mythology's next expansion, which is Heavenly Spear, which focuses on Japanese pantheon of mythology, and we had confirmation this is launching in fall 2025, and they also confirmed that if you already own the premium edition of the game, you'll get this content automatically, but with it brings new powers, new missions, new gods, 12 new gods in total. Next game, very surprising game to come into the mix here, but it was called Mudang Two Hearts. Now we had confirmation this is releasing in 2026 by EVR Studio, and this is set in modern day South Korea, and during a period when the countries reunifying with North Korea, but you need to uncover a conspiracy that could throw the two countries into chaos. This reminded me a lot of a sort of a Splinter Cell come Call of Duty. Very intriguing trailer, first we've seen of it, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing more. I really hope this one does turn out well. Next up then, we had a beautiful trailer to one of my favourite sort of indie games of the last couple of years, which is Planet of Lana. So we had the reveal of Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf, launching in 2026, and it will be a day one Game Pass drop. Now, when I played the last Planet of Lana, I think I completed it in one sitting, but we're certainly looking forward to this one. Beautiful visions, stunning music. Definitely going to be checking this one out next year. We then had Fallout 76 Gone Fission, Fusion, which is releasing on 3rd of June 2025, and is a free update that essentially brings fishing and a new location to the game series. Definitely riding high off the back of the success of Fallout TV series, so if you're a fan of Fallout 76, you check it out. We then had the reveal of Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive, which is launching in 2026. No word on Game Pass on this one, but this is of course a adaptation of the very popular anime series, and it's essentially a busy action game, but they also confirmed that it can have up to 4-player co-op. We then had a cutesy trailer in the form of Animo. So Animo is launching in 2026. Again, no confirmation of Game Pass on this one, but it's very much reminded me of Pokemon, and if Palworld's anything to go by, I reckon Nintendo's lawyers are probably drumming something up the knock on the day on this one, but as a monster catching genre type game. Very pretty visuals on this one, so if that is something you're interested in, be sure to check it out. We then had Tony Hawk came on screen to thank the audience on the success of the Tony Hawk franchise, but bringing the launch trailer for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, which as a reminder is launching on the 11th of July and is day one in Game Pass, and if you buy the deluxe edition you get a special Doom Slayer skin. We then had At Fate's End revealed. So At Fate's End is launching in 2026 and is developed by this team behind Spiritfarer. It's a day one Xbox Game Pass launch game, and you essentially, it's a 2D side-scrolling game where you have to battle through a family of monsters and sort of do tough narrative choices as the game goes on. We then got a nice trailer then for Gears of War Reloaded, just to remind everyone it was coming this year, and this is dropping on the 26th of August, and it's a day one drop into Game Pass. We all know Gears of War, we all probably played it plenty of times before, but this brings it into the era with updated visuals, audio, full 4K support, and a chance to tear it up the streets with new players joining from the PlayStation side. So opportunity for those hardcore Gears fans to show PlayStation gamers what a real multiplayer looks like. We then rolled into what is becoming a standard tradition at Xbox's showcases now for the last few years, in the form of Persona reveal. So we had the confirmation that Persona 4 Revival is being made. So this is Persona 4 Golden, which was released many years ago. This is now the full remake of this, and it's dropping. We didn't get a date on this one, but this probably likely next year. But important again, this is a day one drop into Game Pass. So if you're a fan of the Persona franchise, check it out. We then got another sizzle reel for an ongoing games as a service from Microsoft in the form of Sea of Thieves, with a reveal of Season 17, which is titled Smuggler's Tide. We then got one of the big surprises of the showcase for me that I really enjoyed, and it was the reveal of Invincible video game. So Invincible Versus, which is launching in 2026, and this is a fighting game of the Invincible franchise. Now I'm a big fan of this TV show, so very much looking forward to this one. We had confirmation in it, they had all the major characters, so Atom Eve, Invincible, and all that. So they also revealed that this has a 3v3 fighting game as well, more to it. So definitely looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. Then we had back-to-back reveals of two highly anticipated games finally making their debut on the Xbox platform. So first up was Final Fantasy VII Remake, the integrated version, which is the full package version, and we had the confirmation that this is launching late 2025. Now this is of course launched all the way back on the PS4, I believe back in 2019, but after 6 years, Xbox players will finally be able to get their hands on this game in the franchise. And based on the fact that this is launching undoubtedly next year, then we will get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But we also then got confirmation that Final Fantasy 16 is also launching on Xbox. Well, not launching, it's already launched, because they revealed that they launched yesterday during the showcase. So this is the most recent game in the series, and sort of trades in the turn-based aspect for sort of stunning visual cinematic combat. So there's two versions of this game that launched. There was the standard edition and then the complete edition that comes with all of its expansions. We then had another reveal from Xbox Game Studios in the form of Double Fine's The Keeper. So this is launching on the 17th of October to sort of wrap up a very busy October for Xbox, launching 3 games in the space of 2 weeks. Again, this is launching into Game Pass, and this was a beautiful looking action adventure game where you essentially take the form of a moving animated lighthouse with a bird companion. So very unusual, but it's exactly what we should expect from Double Fine when you look back through their history of Grim Fandango, Psychonauts, you've got Brutal Legend and so on. They've never really sort of strayed away from going a bit sort of down the wacky route. And then to close the show out, we had, of course, the reveal of Call of Duty Black Ops 6, another Game Pass launched. Now, we didn't get the date for this one, but it's obvious it's probably going to come around November this year. But yeah, this one really had us teasing, so many were wondering what was this trailer as it was playing, but it was only when the name Alex Mason and Menendez popped up that the pin was dropped to remind everyone, oh yes, Microsoft own the Call of Duty franchise. So we had a nice quick sizzle reel, and undoubtedly we'll get a bigger reveal of Black Ops 7 of what's in the package, likely around summertime. So with that, everybody, that was the showcase. So what was your favorite reveals in that showcase? What was your overall opinion on that showcase? Do let me know in the comments. And if you're not already, please do like the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel for any future content. But with that, everybody, enjoy your week and I'll catch you soon.